Hello, Oracles. Well, here I am out here. I just completed North and South Kinsman 4,000 footers in New Hampshire. Those were the next two on my list. So feeling good about that. And I gotta say, it wasn't as challenging as I thought it was gonna be, but you know, that's what training is for. So my training has got me to the point where it's not all that challenging. But in the process of hiking, I was thinking about where Tesla's next gigafactory is going to be. Most likely we're going to be finding out by the end of this year. Of course, we just found out about Mexico recently. So questions, and there was a good conversation going on over on Twitter. Let me not fall off the rocks here. And lots of different thoughts coming up about Canada being the next spot. Personally, I think it's going to be Asia Pacific. Canada does make sense for a gigafactory in the future. However, with them just starting Mexico, you know, for logistical purposes, I don't really foresee them putting another one in North America right now. Probably next year or the year after we'll hear that announcement. However, looking at the fact that I think it's going to be Asia Pacific, a lot of people were thinking, you know, South Korea's been on the list, Indonesia's on the list. Originally, India I had as the next spot, but then India didn't want to play ball, and they're really high with their duties and all of that stuff. It's ridiculous, but sounds like there's some talks going on again with India, so maybe India becomes the next place. Lots of thoughts, and you guys can leave your thoughts in the comments below. I still personally think it's going to be Indonesia. South Korea is a very good bet. And of course, you know, India coming back onto the radar sounds like it's a viable option as well. So when it comes to India, I think India would have to be an all-encompassing player. They would have to have energy and everything all in there. And I think they would do that. I think they absolutely would. I think it would be good for the entire country and the economy. Some thoughts I've had, and you know, I don't live in India, so I don't know how much influence it can have, but the caste system over there is so very strict with how it runs. Putting over there a vehicle with the next gen platform, something that could be, you know, more affordable. They don't sell a lot of higher end vehicles in India, but selling a more affordable vehicle could be a viable option there. That could disrupt their entire economy and way of life. I don't know if it's going to actually be that powerful, but that was just a thought that I had. But either way, when it comes to energy and other things, and I have no doubt that Starlink would try to get in there, you know, Elon with SpaceX and Starlink getting in there, you know, as we've seen with places like Brazil, you know, they're bringing knowledge and communication to places that have never had it before. And there's definitely places in India like that. So this could be a very good thing for India overall, but it's a matter of whether they're actually going to allow that or not. We'll see. So that's why India's back on the radar, but I don't think it's top dollar right now. So unless Tesla, for some reason, really wants to get in there, so unless Tesla's willing to look past a lot of the negatives that have to do with India, I don't think India's going to be the next viable option. So with that said, we go to South Korea, and I think South Korea and Indonesia are kind of are equal. They have equal opportunity to be able to make this all happen. So my thoughts on the two are, Indonesia's got a lot of the resources and minerals that are needed to make all the vehicles. That was one of the stipulations that they wanted. Indonesia makes sense to put another factory. Just having one in Asia Pacific that's not in China takes away that China risk. I think that's going to be very big. So I think that's going to be a reason why they're going to put one in Asia Pacific next, is to take away that risk. Indonesia has right-hand drive vehicles, so they could supply all of those because it would be much more efficient to run them all through one factory. Instead of having a factory make both, they would have one factory just make all right-hand vehicles, and that would be it. So then you can go like to Shanghai, who makes both, and they can go back and just make the left-hand drive vehicles once that gets up and ramped. So that's my thought for there. South Korea now is also vying for it. So we have countries that really want this because they know how it's going to impact their economy. You know, we've already heard that from Mexico, the Mexican president and the governor over there. So we know that that's going to have a major impact on their economy in a positive way. So we have countries vying for this. South Korea is one of them. They've already had that. We know that Elon met with the South Korean president just recently. So, you know, there's a lot of talks going on. So I think South Korea and Indonesia will both get one. I just think it's going to be Indonesia first. And now another thing about South Korea is they already have an automotive manufacturing presence over there. So having Tesla go there would make sense. I've heard people like Warren Redlick say, you know, Japan makes a lot of sense as well. And I'm not saying they don't, but Japan to me doesn't make as much sense as an Indonesia or a South Korea. So I think Japan will end up getting one. Just don't think it's going to be now. I think, again, South Korea, Indonesia will be next. South Korea tends to have more talent. So South Korea, what they have going for them is the talent, already have an automotive presence there. Obviously, the country definitely wants them to be there. So is it going to be enough to sway Tesla to go that direction versus Indonesia, where they've got the resources? Cost of labor, I truly don't know the difference between the two, so I don't know where it will be more cost effective for labor from that standpoint. But Indonesia can benefit from energy and everything else as well, very much like India would. So maybe Indonesia gets energy. We've already heard about, Shanghai coming up with their energy plant. I know Australia would love to have energy. They do very well with it. So maybe we see an energy factory coming to Australia in the future as well. But lots of options over there. Again, you guys let us know in the comments below where you think. I truly don't think North America is going to be the next one, since we just heard about Mexico. And I don't think Europe is going to be on the radar yet, because Berlin is really handling most of that right now. So I truly think we're going to hear something about Asia Pacific. Maybe next year we hear something about Europe, so that there's going to be 2 factories basically in each section of the world. There would now be 3 in North America. There would be 2 over in Asia Pacific, and then 2 in the European region. And then after that, I think they would, I don't know, we'll see from there where it goes. But if they're really going to be pumping out 4 million units out of Mexico alone, the next factory they build will probably end up doing the same thing. So you start doing the math with Tesla wanting to get to 20 million vehicles per year by 2030. If you've got 4 million coming out of Mexico, 4 million coming out of the next factory, that's 8. Then you've got 2 coming out of Berlin, 2 million coming out of Austin, and 1 million coming out of Fremont. And then you're going to have at least 2 million coming out of Shanghai as well. I mean, right there, that's 8. I'm going to do math in my head as I'm hiking here. So you've got 8, 14, you've got about 15 million vehicles in just those factories alone. So just from expansions on those, you could get more. Or Tesla might try to go from a logistical standpoint and put smaller factories in more close regions to cut down on logistics from having to transport vehicles everywhere, and just do a couple of smaller factories in other smaller regions to push them up to that 20 million. That's just my take on all of that. So again, I think we're going to see Asia Pacific next. Probably hear about it. Maybe by the end of the summer, we'll hear about that. I think they're going to probably want to start construction on that about 6 months after Mexico, so that this way by 2025, they're going to have Mexico up and running with a ramp. And then they're going to have shortly after that, the next factory up and running as well. So by 2026, they're going to have all of their factories at pretty much almost full ramp. And for everyone who's been following along, you know full well how much I'm really focusing on 2025 as the big year for Tesla. You guys follow Curious Peggy. He just came out with a video himself about just that. 2025, to me, is that big year, is where we're going to be seeing everything come together. So if we're going to be having another Asia Pacific factory like Mexico coming up to full ramp between 2025 and 2026, that's the huge basic foundation that Tesla needs for all of their EVs. And at that point, they're going to be focusing more on energy, because they're going to need to get that up and running. And then Optimus will be the next one. Obviously, I think Optimus is a little bit further out, but as far as Elon is concerned, Optimus is going to be the long-term investor's dream. That is what is really going to carry Tesla long-term in the future. So maybe by 2025 or 2026, we hear about an actual Optimus factory and more details on that. So maybe we hear about it sooner, but I think that's the time frame we'll hear about it as well. So lots of awesome stuff in the pipeline, and I think we're going to see this massive foundation set for Tesla coming in 2025. And at that point, maybe we hear about a couple new factories in 2025, but just the fact that they have to focus on Mexico and this next factory that they're going to be doing and pumping out the next gen vehicle, Cybertruck they've got coming out this year, and then robotaxis and FSD. So if you think about it, all the vehicles that they could potentially be pumping out in 2025 that have FSD on them, massive, massive margins possibly coming in 2025 to 2026. Again, all of it coming together at the same time that the economy and the entire world should be turning around and coming back out of this. So we have interest rates coming down, more people can afford vehicles, more people who can afford vehicles will have extra money to then want to go and get FSD, especially because we see how fast it's progressing now. Think about how good it's going to be in 2025 or 2026, maybe even regulated in China, in the US, and who knows where else. So yeah, massive potential future margins, profits coming in for Tesla. This is why I'm so excited about these times, and just the news that we get about all of it right now is this is the foundation. This is like a cobra coiling up, getting ready to strike. So right now we are in this fundamental coiling right now. We're coiling up and we're just waiting for that right moment to strike. And it's that point where we're going to see that spring come out, that cobra attack, and we're going to see the stock price shoot up again and have another one of those parabolic moves. So hope you guys enjoyed today. Hope you enjoyed the hike with me. I had an awesome time. I've got another hike tomorrow, looking for another 9.1 miles. If you guys want to know more about that stuff, I have that over on my other channel, Oracle Health and Fitness. But otherwise, Tesla, looking awesome. Absolutely loving what's going on. Let us know in the comments below where you think the next factory is going to be. Let us know when you think everything is going to turn around and we get that next parabolic jump. Otherwise, hope you guys have a great Memorial Day weekend, and we will see you in the next one. Thank you.